Welcome to Executive Intuition, the Decisive Leader Poll, where we take a brief pause to check where leadership pressure might be distorting your judgment, your energy, or your pace. Today's poll helps you identify where your energy might be vulnerable to distortion, urgency, emotional responsibility, or mission-driven pressure that is quietly stealing your clarity and your time. We're using a structured, intuitive poll to examine some leadership patterns that I've been seeing a lot across many high responsibility, mission-driven professionals. And just to be clear, this is not fortune telling. It's a reflective clarity tool that allows us to take a different perspective and approach on certain leadership patterns that might be lingering underneath the surface, quietly diverting your time and stealing your clarity for career growth and scale. Across my work with social impact leaders and on many of the live events that I facilitate in spaces like Insight Timer, there's a very consistent energetic signature that's starting to appear. So we're seeing a lot of capable leaders with high ownership and really strong commitment to the mission. But underneath that layer is a level of political instability and relational conflict that is emerging. So let's take a look at the cards to see what the primary leadership pain point is. The first card is the Seven of Swords. In leadership contexts, this rarely means dramatic betrayal. Much more often, it points to subtle trust erosion, misaligned incentives, information being unevenly shared, or leaders feeling they must stay strategically alert. The distortion to name here is, if I'm feeling this much tension, something must be wrong with how I'm leading. Because that's not the case. The grounded truth is really that many of you are operating in complex, resource-constrained systems. Heightened strategic awareness is not a personal flaw. It is often an adaptive response to the environment. What becomes costly is when your nervous system never gets to stand down. Here's the leadership pattern I want you to notice. When trust starts to feel unstable in a system, high-capacity leaders often default into becoming more vigilant. More scanning, more anticipating, more carrying. And over time, that starts to create more cognitive and emotional load that doesn't show up on your job description, but slowly starts to take over your leadership energy. So here's reflection question number 1. Where in your current leadership role are you staying more strategically alert than you were 6 months ago? Pause with that. The secondary card is the Five of Pentacles. In leadership spaces, this often reflects feeling professionally isolated, carrying pressure quietly, or navigating challenges without sufficient support. Again, I want to name the distortion very clearly. The distortion is, if I'm struggling internally, I must be falling behind. When truly, the grounded truth here is many highly competent leaders go through seasons where the external demands temporarily outpace the available support structures. This is a systems reality, not a personal deficiency. If this poll is resonating, here's an additional question that you can work with. Reflection question number 2. Where have I been over-functioning in order to maintain stability in my team or organization? You don't need dramatic answers here. Even small shifts in awareness can begin to help you free up some of the cognitive load. And for those of you who are understandably skeptical about intuitive tools, I want to speak to that directly. This work is not about predicting outcomes. It's about using structured symbolic frameworks to help experienced leaders access pattern recognition more quickly so they can optimize process. Many executives I've worked with come in curious and cautious. What tends to shift their perspective is when they appreciate the practical nature of the reflection questions that we are navigating with, because they help bring back clarity and reclaim time. Remember, you are always the decision maker in your leadership context. This is simply a clarity accelerator. In past leadership cohorts and private sessions, one of the most fulfilling moments of relief I see is when leaders realize, oh, this isn't just me. This is a function of the environment that I'm in. That distinction alone often reduces a lot of unnecessary pressure and helps leaders make cleaner strategic decisions. If you want a structured way to assess whether you're overextending in your leadership, then the free Leadership Mask Audit is definitely the next step for you. It'll be linked below. If you're already noticing signs of sustained depletion, then the Clarity and Power Reset is your recalibration space for deeper one-on-one work with me. Always remember to take what serves you. And if this reflection was useful, then I encourage you to please hit that subscribe button, because next we are going to be exploring what new cycles are opening up for leaders. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.